I'm Craig Guinasso. I'm the Senior Manager for Information Security and Chief Security Officer for Genomic Health. I work for the CIO and have been here for about 5 years. Genomic Health is a cancer diagnostic company, and we specialize in cancer treatment. Currently, we have a test for breast, colon, and prostate cancer. Essentially, we do a diagnostic test on your tumor to tell you whether chemo or other forms of therapy would be appropriate for you. So for Genomic Health, we have a cloud-first philosophy. We know that we do cancer diagnostics very well. Building data centers, maybe not so much. Our drive is to use the cloud whenever possible and as frequently as we can. Anything that we can do commercially off the shelf, cloud-based, is typically our first choice, whether it's day-to-day applications like Box or ServiceNow, up to and including some highly competitive diagnostic analysis. So as it relates to security, in the past, we had way more control over who had access to apps, who had access to hardware, where that hardware was, who was accessing it, and from where they were accessing it from. Everything was done from our internal network. Once the cloud became really front and center to what we do, we've had to think outside the box on how we then put those same controls in place for those cloud applications and for those virtual machines and things that are in the cloud. I would say the single biggest thing that we've noticed is the integration or the interaction between apps. So you could have a cloud app that does one thing that maybe you have an issue with it, and it could trigger a ticket in a different system. And so integration between cloud apps, I'd say, has been the single biggest thing that we've noticed in the last year to 18 months. Our philosophy typically is trust but verify. We allow users access within reason. Our users are generally very well behaved. They know what they can and can't do. We like to give the example that we allow them to go bowling and not surfing. And bowling means that they've got gutters on either side. They've got guidelines for which they can play, right? Whereas surfing, they can surf up and down the beach and with no guidelines at all. And we don't allow surfing in our information security policy. Our philosophy has greatly changed with the use of cloud. We've realized that we now have visibility into areas with the use of Netskope that we haven't had in the past. And it's an area that we've really clamped down on. Initially, we thought we had about 50 or 60 apps that we were using. It turns out that our number was more like 300 or 350. And so it was a bit of an eye-opener for us, and we really realized that there was a lot out there that we didn't know. So we have sanctioned some apps. Now what we do is we actually give our users sort of a speed bump and say, if you want to use a cloud-based storage, Dropbox is not the place for that. It's Box. We selected Netskope because we thought that they had watched the market and seen what other companies in that space weren't doing well, and made sure that they did it really well. We've had great luck with young companies, and it was just a really good fit for us. And the most valuable benefit to having Netskope is the visibility to the cloud that we never had before. Not only that, but we can now write a single policy for all of our applications. When we initially purchased and were implementing Box, we were going through their sort of lightweight DLP tool that they have, or their configuration. And I thought, it'd be great if we could do this for all of our apps. So now we go into one place, we write one policy, and it does the same thing for all of our cloud applications, and it's a lifesaver. So I would highly recommend Netskope. They've been a great company to work with. They've been very responsive. Any company out there looking for a cloud access security broker would not be unhappy with their decision to purchase Netskope.